Hey gang, John Bacarella here again with your Lake St. Clair fishing report. We're going to start out with a very quick ice report because I know a lot of you guys are nervous probably because of all the rain that we had and all the high winds. But I'm very happy to report that the ice really withstood all the rain and all the wind quite well. Actually, we were able to make a lot of ice during the week and we didn't lose a whole lot when we had the rain. So there is some open water of note. Pretty much the worst open water we saw was out from the end of Harley Ensign down to the point at Metro, and then actually it went out really far after that. But so that's kind of the biggest open water pockets that we saw. And then there was open water underneath the bridge at Crocker, over by on the spillway where Jefferson goes over. So that was open water. The ducks and geese are keeping that open pretty good. And then there was over by Candles where the water comes underneath the road there on South River Road. There was open water there going out into the bay. But other than that, everything is locked up pretty darn good. So let's start up on the north end of the lake. So north end of the lake, the water's clear. So guys, with all this rain, you guys would think that we got like really dirty water, right? And I know the water clouded up when we had that ice jam up on the St. Clair River. But honestly, the water conditions out there, for the most part on the main lake, are very clear. And with this clear, gin clear ice and all this clear water, it is making for some tough fishing conditions out there. So guys are struggling. I mean, they're catching some fish, but they're really struggling. Up on the north end, I know they've been catching some fish up by the raft. They've been getting gills and crappies still, but I think the canals are actually producing better up on that end than the main lake is. Now, they are getting perch. Although it sounds like the bite on the big perch has slowed down and guys are picking up a lot more small fish out off of the public access up there. There's been basically nobody fishing off of Brandenburg yet, and we did check the ice out there and the ice conditions have greatly improved. And I'm thinking by this weekend you guys ought to be able to walk around out there. Still spuds, you know, no augers. Now auger time hasn't started yet, but you should be able to move around out there and find some fish. Now that's pretty much the same thing all the way down along the lake here. The gin clear ice and that clear water is going to make it tough for you guys. You're going to have to really focus in on fishing the white ice, fishing areas that have got ice jams, snow on the ice. Right now there's nothing. There's no snow out there at all, and I actually would like to keep it that way for a couple of more nights so we can make some more thickness. But you're going to have to really focus on those white ice areas. If you're in an area where you can see bottom, I mean, you know, you're just going to have to move. And yeah, that's just going to be the nature of the beast for right now with the conditions that we have. Kind of the same thing for creepers and dragging your shelters and stuff around. You know, you're going to be spooking fish in the shallow water, so you're going to have to really sit tight and sit quiet if you're going to get those fish to come around. They're going to be really skittish with these conditions. And I think that's affecting a lot of things for these guys out there. Now, the places that I think are producing better are these canals, and like over by Crocker Road, over near the spillway. I would give it a shot off of the Clinton River right now in those areas, especially over by that basin. Remember from last week's report that ice is held up fantastic in there, and that water is going to be a lot more off-colored. These fish are going to feel safer. There's going to be more food for them too in that dirty water. But your canals generally are going to have more algae, so you're going to have, you know, just off-colored water. You're going to have baby gills and stuff in there for them to feed on. It's going to be, I think it's going to be more productive for you guys this time of the year. Use that lake ice that you have right now to access these canals that you normally can't get into. You know, normally the problem with these canals is that we don't have access, right? You got to know somebody before you can get in. But now if you can get out in that main lake and you can walk around the corner, you can get into all these canals and get back to those fish, back in that little bit off-colored water. We did talk to some guys coming off of the ramp, or coming back in off of the ramp at Selfridge. Water real clear out there or not?
You can't see the bottom. It's probably like 3 or 4 feet visibility.
That's good. That's pretty good visibility. That's about perfect, actually.
Yeah, it looks like Sprite. Yeah. Or no, it looks like a squirt.
Okay, though. Did you go down to the right, or were you just straight out?
I went out past the chunked up ice to the left by the point there, and then I zigzagged in towards shore. But
how thick was it out on that fresh stuff out there?
It's only like stuff? 2.5, 3.
That's about what I thought.
Yeah, I mean, it's not cracking or nothing, but I'm not gonna
stuff around 4 or 5?
It's like 8.
Is it really?
Yeah, I brought my spud out, and I was spudding. I was like, whoa, whoa.
I knew there was some double and triple layer stuff out there. I'd heard, like, before the rain, it was almost a foot, some of the guys were saying. So.
Yeah, I don't know. It's 5 minutes with the spud.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess they're getting some at Crocker. I might try that.
It's probably a little dirtier there, too, so it makes it easier, you know?
Yeah, that'll be good. There's a bunch of guys there. There's people sitting out there, like, for a few hours in the same spot. I don't know if they're trying to spear. There's a couple spear holes, but I mean, I would have at least got a couple perch if they were perch fishing, so I don't know.
Yep. They were catching small fish, but we also had one of our employees out earlier in the week that got some nice fish, but he was out quite a ways farther, I think, than most of these guys were, and he was out on some of that old ice. Now, if you're off of Selfridge, what you're going to find is you're going to have ice, at least as of today, some of that stuff was like 2.5, 3 inches thick, but then there's some double and triple layer stuff out there that's probably closer to 8 or 10 inches. And I think you're going to find that you're going to get more fish again because of what we were just talking about underneath that double and triple layer ice, because it gives those fish some cover under there. I think you're going to find the same thing up and down the shoreline. Now, one thing that was quite remarkable was when we went down to Beacon's Cove and checked the ice down there, you could see there was a ton of white ice over in the corner by Gino's, and then there's a ton of gin clear stuff that runs all the way from the point all the way down by Ford's Cove. And I mean, that stuff is crystal clear. It's almost freaky to walk on. But we were able to walk on it today, so it's going to get thicker and thicker, which is great news for you guys wanting to get out and do some walleye fishing. And I don't think anybody has been out there yet really chasing the eyes, but we're going to be able to do that here real quick. And you should be able to do it even in that 5 to 6 foot of water off of Metro right now. And then again, over in the corner there by Gino's if you can get down to it. Same thing goes for down by the St. Clair Shores area. I talked with Julie at Lakeside. The guys are still fishing the canals down there, still struggling with the small fish, but we've got a ton of big fish coming in. If you guys have been watching our crappie contest, that first place crappie just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and those fish are coming out of the canals. So I know some of them come out of the canals to the north, but I can guarantee you they're coming out of those canals down there by Miller's as well. So again, I guess kind of the name of the game for this weekend is going to be, you're going to have to pay attention to the details. You know, fish on that dirty, that white ice, find some jams, find places where you can't see the bottom. Back in here at Metro, we checked it back there. There hasn't been even any holes cut back there. So back in those boat basins, and that ice, that water back there is probably 9-10 feet. It's going to be a little more off-colored than other areas, and you're going to have fish back there. Same thing back in the marsh area. We did talk to one angler that got out there for a couple hours, and he actually did pretty darn good. So I'll let him fill it in from here. Well, did you get any?
If I tell you what I did, it won't be any good after that.
There's nobody here. What's wrong with everybody?
They're a 1.5 foot under the ice.
Are they up high?
Oh man.
Gills and crappies?
I didn't get any crappies, and I caught 3 or 4 perch that probably most people would have kept.
Right.
They were maybe 8 inchers. I didn't keep anything. You know, for every 3 or 4 bluegills you catch, maybe 1 could have been kept. But
okay.
A lot of 7.5 inch fish. A lot of 7 3/4 inch fish.
That's good.
So.
No, there's nobody out anywhere. There isn't even a hole cut over here in the basins, and there's 5 inches ice.
There was 2 guys out here earlier, and they left. So there's an older fella here this morning. He fished here all the time. Got a white beard. I forgot his name. He said he got some big ones, you know, at the end of the canal this morning.
Right.
I just went right in here, you know, the length of that island.
Yep.
And you know, I screwed around with that fluorescent line. I don't have confidence against a lure, but I know it works. So I tied it on and I threw it down the hole, and I'm doing this trying to see what I got going, and it's just laying on the hole. Grabbed the line. You know, that's how I figured out they were high. And I didn't have my electronics with me or anything.
No need when they're up a foot high.
I mean, they're 1.5 foot below. It's because it's cloudy.
Okay, that's good. Because everywhere we've been checking, the water's like gin clear.
Yeah, no, it's cloudy right here.
Okay.
At least right in here.
That makes a big difference.
And you just see the black shadow come in, you know, and then you see the waxworm disappear. That's all you got.
Cool.
But there's a good 5 inches of ice, but it's, you know, there's a crust that you go through about 1.5 inches.
I know.
I don't like that. I have my spud with me, and poof.
It'll make you pucker.
Because the whole thing goes, and then you...
After tonight, that'll be all firm.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know why they're not fishing, but There was quite a few guys out of day sail earlier.
There still is quite a few.
I don't know how they're doing. But years ago, I used to fish the other side of that island. And I see a couple guys go through, not this year, where that current comes out. Like, and so I'm too lazy to walk around.
Yeah, you got to be careful around that island. That's one of the last places to freeze.
Yeah, but what's interesting is there's perch about that big. They come right up into the hole trying to get your bait. You know, they must have been born this spring. You know,
they ain't gonna live long doing that.
No. So, but I love it out here. I'm gonna bring my grandkids out here. That's why, not today, but you know, it's not gonna get any bad now. It's tied in pretty good.
No, it's good now.
But it's just too slippery for them. So.
Yep. We
get some snow on it, and hell, they're out here an hour catching 1 or 2, and I take them to McDonald's, and hell, I'm a hero.
Yep, that's right.
No, I mean that.
That's right. So like he was just saying, guys, you know, cloudy water, that was the ticket for him. He could not see the fish when they were coming in. They were looking like shadows. They were coming in really high, which is not uncommon in that dirty water like that. Those fish can come in high. And I would imagine all through that metro system back there, you're going to find similar water clarity conditions, and you're going to find some active fish. So, you know, hunt down some of that dirtier water, hunt down that dirty ice, look for jams, look for weed pockets, and move quiet out there. And I think we're going to have a whole lot better fishing report for you guys next weekend, simply because you guys are going to get out this week. Use the spud, pay attention to the details. You know, wear your creepers when you're doing the big walks, but then when you sit down and start fishing, take them off, you know, unless, you know, I don't want anybody to get hurt, but you're going to making noise is not going to be your friend out there with these conditions. If we get a little bit of snow, it's going to quiet it down and improve things, but right now, you know, you're going to have to kind of keep it quiet. So here's till next week, and hopefully a long season ahead of us.